Good day. This is part 2 of the properties measurement summary. We went over A, B, and suddenly it changed to a 5, just to make life interesting. Anyways, this one's looking at density. And density, yes, you should know definition, but you should also know the calculations. These formulas will be provided. Whenever you do a calculation, you have to show the formula, the numbers you plug into the formula, and the answers with the proper units. And we've done lots of examples, and they're in video form, so go back and view them if you're still confused. In terms of density, it reminds you to find the mass of a solid is direct measurement, find the mass of a liquid is indirect measurement. For find the volume of a solid, it's indirect measurement, and for liquids, it's direct measurement. And it also talks about the uses for density. One of the big uses we worried about was for predicting if something will sink or float, and we did some demos related to it. And of course, like all these properties we've looked at, we often like them to use them to identify an unknown material. You were responsible for the density lab and understanding how those things went. And on the test, you will actually have to physically determine the density of some material. You'll be sent to a station, and you'll have about 3 minutes to get its mass, volume, and figure out its density. We watched a DVD called Making Stuff Stronger. It had some other properties. It talked about tensile strength and toughness. It showed you nanotubes. And it talked about compressive strength. You might remember when the gentleman stood on the wine glasses. And it talked about Kevlar and spider silk and all kinds of wonderful things. When we did the KMT, you watched a video about the making of glass, and I could have asked you questions about glass on that test, and I may ask you questions about glass on this one, some of the glass's properties. These diagrams will be provided on the test. So if it's a rectangular solid, you have a length, a width, and height, the 3 different dimensions, multiply them together, and they will have been measured in centimeters. The volume comes out in centimeters cubed. For a cylinder, pi r squared h, so here's our height, and radius is half the diameter. For a sphere, it's 4/3 pi r cubed, so you got to figure out the radius and cube it. That means multiply it by itself 3 times, and then multiply by 4, divide by 3, and multiply by pi. So as long as you understand what radius means, you will have no problem with those kind of calculations. But this test is going to be a big one. So yes, you should have done the practice test. Yes, you should make sure you do corrections to the practice test. And make sure you're fully prepared for the test. If you are, the test will be straightforward. But it's big. You will have time pressure. You will not have time to waste time. You have to come in knowing what you're doing.